Hi, I'm glad you've come back to our blog, our Grace Walk Groups Ministry blog. You're here by invitation because you've shown an interest in being a part of our Grace Walk Groups Ministry, and I'm glad about that. And I'm sure you've watched the introductory video that I put up last time. And we're moving forward now toward launching these Grace Walk groups, and I'm happy that you do want to be involved in this. You know, there's a real opportunity for us to impact the world through these Grace Walk groups. God is raising up folks like you and me who have a passion to share the message of the Grace Walk. And I believe that with us joining our efforts together and marching to the same beat, we can make a real impact and change the spiritual temperature in our world. You know, I've been thinking about how to move forward with this, and I want to allow a little bit of time to for people to respond. The newsletter just went out a few weeks ago. Some people just got it in the mail. I'm getting a regular response through emails from people who say they want to be a part of this. Right now, based on the emails I have, it looks like we're going to kick this off, if it were today, with about 40 groups. And that's a good number. I'm pleased with that. 40 people have indicated they want to be a Grace Walk group leader, and I think that's good because, well, that's a good start for reaching folks. Eventually, of course, I trust and pray that we'll have Grace Walk groups in every state in the U.S., in every province in Canada, and in places all around the world. But hey, if we start with 40 or 50 groups, I mean, if you figure 40 groups and each group had, say, 15 people, that's what, 600 folks right there that are studying the Grace Walk together. So that's a good seed to start with to impact our culture with the message of the Grace Walk. You know, I've been reading George Barna's book called Revolution. Have you heard of this book? George Barna is he's a pollster, and basically he studies trends. He's been a guru in the church growth movement for a lot of years. In fact, for many years he was looked to by churches to find out what the trends are and to find out how church life could be enhanced and attract more people for numerical growth. And as I said, he was a guru in that movement. But recently he's had a shift as he's looked at trends that are going on in our culture. He says that more and more people are moving away from the traditional church setting to find their primary source of spiritual nurture. He's not talking down the traditional church, nor will you ever hear me do that. But he is saying that people are looking outside the walls of the church, and they're looking to smaller groups, little handfuls of people, pockets of people, sometimes even one-on-one. But there's an interesting thing that I picked up on out of this book, and I might refer to a number of things over the days to come. But he talked about how that there are 77 million American adults who are churched, born-again Christians. And I don't think that's including Canada. I think he's just talking about the U.S. But based on the polls he did, listen to this. He said 8 out of every 10 believers do not feel they have entered into the presence of God or experienced a connection with Him during a worship service. That's based on polls that he did. 8 out of 10 people, he says in this book, based on his studies, have indicated they've not experienced the presence of God in worship services. And so that really opens the door for folks like you and me to begin to share the message in small groups and to see people impacted in a tremendous way. I'm calling these Grace Walk groups the launch of what I believe is the coming Grace Revolution. And I talked about that in the first video. I won't recap all that now, but the Grace Revolution, of course, is the movement that I believe God is doing to overturn dead legalism in the church world and to replace it by putting Jesus Christ at the forefront again. So I'm going to do these videos and we'll move forward in the training. In this session together, in this video, I think what I'm going to do is answer some questions. I've been getting a lot of emails. As I said, about 40 of you have indicated you'd like to lead Grace Walk groups, and a lot of you are asking the same questions. So I've not responded to your emails personally because I thought the best way to do it is to answer your questions here because everybody has the same questions. I'm going to keep these videos down to about 15 minutes. That's more than I can put up on YouTube, but I can upload it on Google.com, and so you'll see it embedded in this link, or in this site, this Grace Walk Groups blog site, so it won't be an issue for you. But I'm going to try to keep it down to about 15 minutes each time so that it doesn't take up a lot of your time, but you can check back regularly, and I'll post these videos as often as I can. I hope to post one at least once a week, sometime more I hope, but at least once a week you'll see one of these videos come up. So that lets you know how often you can check back and find the videos. I've gotten, as I said, a lot of emails. Let me move through a few of these questions and we'll talk about some answers to things that you're asking and we'll go from here. First of all, people are asking, when are these Grace Walk groups going to launch? Well, that will depend. Again, I know you're anxious to get started with it. I'm eager to see it get rolling as well. But I do want to allow time for people to respond to the newsletter that went out, to the Gracevine, and everybody kind of move through at the same pace. The good thing is that these videos will be on this site, so you can come here anytime and check them at your convenience. But I do want to give a little while for folks to come through and process this information and indicate that they want to be a part of it. But as I say, I'll start putting these videos up, well, right now, and you'll see one pretty much every week, at least once a week. As far as when it launches officially, I would say that within 6-7 weeks from now, I'll be saying, okay, you should have your group gathered together and be going by now. And of course, that'll be after we've had time to talk about the materials and kind of paint the picture of how we're going to get started rolling with this. So anyway, somebody asked this question. A lot of folks have asked, what will it cost to do this? Well, the answer is there's not a charge for you doing this. If you want to be a Grace Walk group leader, there's not a cost to you for doing it. I'm just hoping that the Lord will raise up folks like you who have a passion to share the message and will bring people together in your home or in your business or wherever you meet together and share the message. There won't be a charge per se for you doing this. Now, of course, there will be materials, and there will be a cost to buying the materials. I would recommend that you as the group leader buy the materials and then turn around and sell it to the people in your group, as opposed to making everybody call our office and order it one at a time. That way, when your group is ready to go forward, you'll have all the materials right there, and they can get it right from you. So I'd advise that you do that. Now, I will say this about money. We've got a group already that's been meeting together for some time in California, and our state directors out there for Grace Walk in California, Dave and Marlene Billings, were talking to me one day, and Dave said, you know, if every Grace Walk group would take up an offering, it would help get the message out around the world in places where people don't have any money and where there's a cost for us to go there. For instance, when I went to Africa this past summer, I don't need to tell you there's an expense to do that. When we go down into Latin America, there's a cost to go there. We don't even charge them for the materials. Did you know that, for instance, the Grace Walk Experience that's printed in Spanish, Grace Walk book, Grace Rules, those materials are not for sale in Latin America. We give them away. And so I'm not pressing you on this issue now, but so that you don't feel that you're ambushed later when I do talk more about it, I am going to ask you in your Grace Walk group to take a voluntary offering from people who will give, and the money will go to Grace Walk Ministries so that we can spread the message in places around the world where folks don't have the resources to even get the material. So we'll talk more about that. But the answer to the question, what will it cost to do this? The answer is nothing.